Hello and welcome to my video, Women Are the Problem. This title is slightly ambiguous because I don't like really long titles. Okay, so what I'm going to be discussing is the laws that are in the favour of women and how they're a problem. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume having laws is somewhat a good thing. Okay, first I'm going to state the opposite case. So there's two cases to be made. The case I don't agree with 100% is that the laws are the problem, not the women. Many MGTOW, including TFM, have illustrated this, and they said that women are not responsible, women are children. So if you make the laws in their favour, and women love their big government, they don't like taking responsibility. Of course, if you give them the tools and options to destroy men's lives, their children's lives, get loads of money, just falsely accuse men of rape for no reason. And TFM has likened it to giving a child a box of matches and then being surprised when the house gets burnt down. And you can also then make the argument that in the past, these things didn't happen because the laws were either slightly in the men's favour or they were just more neutral. And we're only seeing the problems now because they're insanely in the women's favour. I also make the general point that with systems and people, if the points of law are in your favour, then people are going to use and abuse them. For example, in the UK, we have unemployment and disability. I know people who have faked disability in order to never work ever again. I know businesses who, for whatever reason, have received government assistance and people have known them to be a charity organisation, but it actually turns out they're a business and they purposely don't correct people. So people, it's like a furniture centre. So you give them your old furniture instead of throwing it away, and they sell it and they pocket the money. However, the general public, including myself, thought this was just a charity organisation and it had something to do with the government. And we can also look at throughout history about systems and how systems have and will get corrupted by people. Okay, so to quickly restate the position is government and laws are the primary concern and women are the secondary concern, the secondary problem. Now, in my opinion, I would argue that women are the primary problem and the laws are secondary. Now, I can tell you one of the main reasons for me holding this position is perhaps because I'll make the statement, I am uncorruptable. So throughout my working life, I've had to deal with vast sums of money and responsibility, and surprisingly enough, I didn't manage stealing or robbing it or misleading anyone. And quite often, I had to count vast sums of money completely and utterly alone with no supervision whatsoever. So I could have easily pocketed some of the money and recorded it as, oh no, we made less money. And I was completely and utterly alone. I could have easily hid. The business I worked at had no cameras. And the money was in cash, could easily have made that disappear. And also, to demonstrate my point, all we need to do is reverse the laws and see what the likely outcomes are. So, let's take the Me Too campaign and the general witch hunts of false accusations of sexual assault and rape. So at the moment, the woman's word is the truth and men go to prison. So let's switch the genders around. So let's say that men could, from now on, or in my scenario, accuse women of raping them and they would go straight to prison. Or in like Portugal, they could accuse all the women of domestic assault and they would go straight to prison before a trial. Now, let's do a reasonable assumption. If men had the ability to do that, would they do that? And would they do that in the same numbers? And you have to answer no, because what man is honestly going to start falsely accusing women of rape or falsely accusing women of domestic violence? Of course, a few are, but the vast majority are not. This is why, for me, I argue that the women are the issue. Obviously, the laws are part of the problem, but it's all about intention and motive, and to be fair, I suppose, still female nature. And perhaps it's just because I am uncorruptable. I remember the classic game of something like, oh, if I give you £1 billion, what would you do for that money? Well, I wouldn't do anything. I couldn't give a shit. You could give me unlimited money. It wouldn't change what I'm going to do. It's a bit like cannibalism. Let's say I was on an airplane that crashed. It was on an island, and we had to commit cannibalism. I'd be like, fuck it, I ain't committing cannibalism for nothing. If I die off, perhaps you can eat me, but I'm not resorting to cannibalism to survive an extra amount of time. No, thank you. Because the thing with the government and the laws, the government are just, it's like a tool. Let's take divorce court as a perfect example. So let's imagine that all the laws are in men's favour. Do we honestly think that men would initiate all the divorces, okay, and destroy all the women's lives? And do you think at the same time they wouldn't mind fucking up their children's life in the process? Because that's often what happens in a divorce. It doesn't. It could permanently fuck up their life, but it mostly fucks up their life for, let's say, 10 to 15 years. And obviously men being more long-term thinkers, and also in a relationship, men are less likely to hold a grudge, providing there was like no cheating or anything. As we all know the saying, where hell have no fury like a woman scorned. And as MGTOW point out, once a man's utility has been fully realised, she falls out of love, she couldn't give a shit, and she will destroy the man to the absolute maximum. And you hear all these stories about the psycho ex-wife, the vengeful ex-wife, who even after years, she's still acting like a massive cunt. For no real reason, apart from that's their nature. But to illustrate the point another way, so the thing with a law is, especially with family court and divorce court and everything, the whole point is they could easily mitigate these between themselves. Easily. The women know before they go to court, the laws are on their side, so before they could settle out of court or before court, and she could already use that as a slight bargaining position. She doesn't have to seek the absolute maximum. Now, I know sometimes I've read stories about just normal women who want a normal divorce, they just want to go their separate ways, and then they get a super feminist lawyer or a super feminist judge, or gynocentric one, who absolutely throw the book at them for no real reason. And then the woman's like, well, it wasn't my fault. And it's like, again, you could have avoided the situation. The other main reason where I believe that women are the primary problem and the government and the laws are only secondary is because without the woman, you couldn't get into all these difficulties. Like, literally, it's like you can't be necessarily falsely accused of sexual assault, rape, without a woman. You can't be destroyed in family court if a woman isn't involved. This is one of the main reasons why all the monks are like, yeah, women are the problem, fuck them. And it's kind of very hard to argue with that, because women are just the new Pandora's box. They're just ticking time bomb. And you could pick a good one. It's like, what, one that hasn't destroyed you yet? Oh, okay. Good find.